Hello and welcome to Healthy India. I'm your host Lottie Alaric, and I'm here with a set of experts as usual to talk about a certain health condition. Today we will be talking about hearing impairment. So to tell us more on the issue, I have in the studio three eminent doctors. I'm very happy to welcome Associate Professor Dr. Rakesh Kumar, Department of ENT at the All India Surgery at the Medanta Medicity. And to my left I have Dr. Professor Ramanuj Bansal, Department of ENT at the Maulana Azad Medical College. So I take this opportunity of welcoming all three of you to the show. So well friends, let's start with Dr. Rakesh Kumar here. If I were to ask you as to how can one define hearing impairment in very simple terms, what would you have to say?
Hearing impairment can be defined when one cannot hear the voice or the speech which otherwise normal people will hear. So that is defined as impaired hearing.
All right. So very simply, if we say if there is some kind of a problem that one is facing while hearing, it is hearing impairment.
Exactly.
All right. So Dr. Handa, now if we go into the medical or the know-how of it, what is the first stage, or even before that, are there any specific causes for hearing impairment in people?
Yes, whenever a patient comes to us with hearing impairment, we try to find a cause. So we also look for other symptoms like ear discharge.
Right.
If there is ear discharge along with hearing impairment, then a common condition is chronic suppurative otitis media.
Okay, so what does that really mean?
That means there is a hole in the membrane or the eardrum, and there is some disease in the middle ear and the mastoid system. Okay. So that is a very common cause of hearing impairment. The other common causes are, there are certain children who are born with congenital, as they are called, deaf and dumb.
Yeah, certainly. It is categorized under noise-induced hearing loss.
Right.
In this, if the exposure is for a shorter duration, then the hearing loss is irreversible. But if person is using, you say, earphone for more than 8 hours a day at say 130 decibel, 120 decibel, so that can certainly result in permanent hearing loss, which is non-reversible. So certainly, because this loud sounds damage the inner ear. Inner ear is a very sensitive structure which is responsible for sound conduction from middle ear to the auditory nerve through the central pathway to the brain. So this sensitive structure gets damaged by the loud sounds. The outer hair cells that gets damaged, so which are at times irreversible. So certainly the incidence of noise-induced hearing loss is on increase in our younger generation.
Right. So what about people for whom it may be an occupational hazard? People who are working in studios with very loud music, whether they are editors or other people, sound engineers. So is there any advice that you would want to give them? How should they really give some relief to the ears, because they are all the time subjected to this kind of loud noises?
You see, they can be at the from where the sound is being produced. So we protect that part so that less sound is emitted. If it's a machinery or anything factory, so number one is the production of sound. So that should be reduced. Secondly, at the level of person who is getting exposed. So if we should reduce the intensity of sound, we should reduce the duration of loud exposure. The Ministry of Labour, Government of India recommends that we should not be exposed more than 115 decibel for 8 hours a day.
Right.
For 5 days in a week. So if exposure is more than this, it is certainly punishable, and it can damage the person's hearing.
Right.
So then the person, if the exposure can damage.
All right. All right. Now, Dr. Handa, you spoke about a discharge from the ear. Now, in an Indian scenario, usually if something like that happens, people will fall upon, say, home remedies like heating up oil, say with garlic or something, and then just put it into the ear, and they will usually not go to a doctor right at that stage. So what is your advice as a doctor to the public for that?
See, if you have a discharging ear, oil should never be put in a discharging ear, because there is most probably a hole in the drum. So if you are putting oil into the middle ear and then into the inner ear, this may cause a severe or a permanent hearing loss.
Correct.
Oil has been used at times to soften the wax. If you're
Hereditary and non-hereditary category.
Okay.
So hereditary is very important category, and if say both persons are deaf, the chances are that the children is quite likely to be a deaf. If one person is deaf, then there are 50% chances.
All right. So then do doctors check it at this time of the delivery, or how do you really
Yes,
go about
certainly.
assessing
We have,
this?
we have very good screening devices available. So when the child is hearing it,
Or as early as that?
as early as possible,
Okay.
because if there is no stimulus given to the child hearing, then his auditory pathway gets used, I mean, it gets atrophied, or you can say it doesn't function.
All right.
There's
All
a-
right.
right? So it is very important that a stimulus is given to the auditory pathway so that it is in functional order. If there is no stimulus for years, then this, even if you do some surgery or put child on any device, the results are very poor. So a early auditory stimulus is very important. So we have number of battery of tests like brain stem, evoked response audiometry, autoacoustic. This BERA is very useful device.
Okay. So what are these tests really all about? How do you go about testing these?
These are hearing loss, whether the hearing loss, it can tell you the degree of hearing loss, the site of hearing loss, whether the cause is in the ear or it is higher up, beyond ear, in the retrocochlear pathway. So these tests are certainly mandatory, in high risk category.
Right. Now, Dr. Rakesh, suppose if the parents are all right, but a child does have some kind of a hearing loss. So what would those symptoms really be?
Another thing is if child is little lacking in his studies, so that is another warning sign that maybe child is not listening complete
And also
thing.
this child may not even be talking at whatever stage he's supposed to talk, because
Yes.
he's not able to listen anything, he may not talk.
Yes, so the impaired speech, it also comes, but by the time we will lose quite important significant
okay,
period,
okay.
because talking starts, say, the one year, 6 months. So, and we have to detect as early as possible.
That's right.
So these
One, whether there is a hearing loss, and
At
number
all.
two, what sort of hearing loss. There are correctable causes of hearing loss, like there is fluid behind the drum, which is a common problem, which is totally correctable by
Right,
either
right.
medicines or some small surgery. But if it is a nerve loss, which is not correctable, but that has to be identified early, and we have to grade it, how much is the severity. If the loss is not profound, it is mild, moderate or severe. However, if it is profound, then he is to go for advanced surgery called cochlear implant surgery. So that his inner ear is stimulated and he is able to speak, hear the sound and speak.
Okay. So Dr. Bansal, maybe now it would be right for you to tell us as to what are these different stages of hearing impairment, which would be the first stage, and what kind of warning signs will people see?
See, hearing loss can be divided into different categories, like mild hearing loss, moderate, moderately severe, severe and profound.
Okay.
25 to 40 decibel is the mild hearing loss, 41 to 55 is the moderate, 56 to 70 is the moderate to severe hearing loss,
Okay.
71 to 90 is the severe, 91 onward is the profound hearing
Profound
loss.
hearing loss.
Yeah.
Okay.
So any child or person who is having mild hearing loss or more needs some management.
So, okay, we'll go to the next stages, but right now we'll have to slip into this very short break. But people do come back quickly, as today we are talking about hearing impairment. Welcome back. This is Healthy India, and today we are talking about hearing impairment. Now, before we go ahead into the discussion, let's take a look at this report, which will tell us as to what hearing impairment is all about. Welcome back. This is Healthy India, and today we are talking about hearing impairment. Now, before we go into the management aspect of it, I would want to know from you, Dr. Handa, that are there any high-risk factors that could be responsible for hearing loss?
Yes, especially in a newborn child, the high risk factors are hyperbilirubinemia, that is jaundice at birth, birth weight less than say 1.5 kg, then home delivery,
Okay,
then preterm children who are born preterm.
correct.
So these are couple of high risk factors where you have to have a high index of suspicion, and these children, if not all, should undergo a screening procedure at birth, which is done by specialized tests like autoacoustic emission or a screening BERA. And wherever there is a fail, these children should go for a full BERA to establish and diagnose loss in the beginning so that we can do something for the child.
That's right. And are there any screening programs, as I even asked earlier, for the, say, the school teachers or some other caregivers? Is there anything like that?
Usually most of the good school, they have the screening program when the child enters, that is 3 years, they usually screen. And 3 or 5 year, and they should be, even if it is not available, they should be made compulsory. Because at times it is the school who detect the hearing loss than the, earlier than parents.
Absolutely. Okay. Now I'm sure there must be people who must be wanting to know about hearing aids. So what kind of hearing aids are available these days, and what are their uses?
Actually, the use of hearing aid is to, basically what is hearing aid? Hearing aid is a device, should be white. If a person has a narrow canal, it cannot be fitted. So hearing aid, of course, is the main treatment for all senior citizens who are having age-related hearing loss because of the degenerative changes in the hearing auditory nerve. So, and school-going children, school-going, you know, any child who is having more than 25 decibel of hearing loss needs some management. So if his hearing is not manageable by the surgical or conservative, then of course these child should be put on hearing aid. In our LNJP hospital, we are having, our hospital is having a planned scheme, prevention of hearing loss in school-going children, which has, and senior citizens have been included in this.
For the hearing aid, the different parts. So it does need periodic this thing, and there are small technical issues which come with the hearing aids, and these need to be sorted out.
So what could be those technical issues that could arise?
Well, the commonest one is the cell. The cell, then the cords, the cord which is attached to the earphone, that may have a problem. Then there may be something in the circuit inside. So you need a technical backup whenever somebody buys these hearing aids.
So which means that they should be trained properly themselves, those people who are using it.
Yes, initially when you take a hearing aid, get accustomed to the different parts, because the miniature digitalized hearing aids, they have very small parts. So you have to handle them very delicately and know how to handle yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. So is it okay for you to talk about the cost of these hearing aids, as to what is the range of these?
Here I want to make one point, that like specs, say 20 years back it was seen to be taboo to wear specs. The same stage is with the hearing aid. People say, no, I don't want hearing aid which is visible.
Exactly.
I think more important than that is the comfort, whether the person is getting comfortable hearing gain by using hearing aid, that is more important. Like someone who is coming from periphery or the
to the others. Thirdly, don't get your ear cleaned with these Kan Melias who are roaming on the roads. Third, on the day of Diwali, avoid crackers because they can cause noise-induced hearing loss. And our message to our young generation is that avoid or restrict the use of headphones, stereo, loud music actually, discos, because they can cause noise-induced hearing loss and maybe a liability on the society. The person becomes deaf.
True. So, Dr. Handa, would you like to add anything to that?
No, he said most of the things, but remember, hearing is a very important faculty, and which is one of the God's best gifts given to you.
True.
And preserve it well, especially the younger generation. Keep this iPod, the earphone business to a minimum possible. Sound exposure, you must 70-80 dB, not more than 2-3 hours in a day. Have some bit of everything, but do not do anything which jeopardizes you.
Absolutely. So what are going to be your concluding words, Doctor?
My thing is like try to detect hearing loss as early as possible.
As early as possible.
When the parents detect it, don't ignore, like the general practitioners, sometimes they say, now the child is very small, you come when he is grown up. So please don't take that advice. If you have suspicion, if someone is telling you, go to another doctor, ENT specialist, get it checked. If you are 100% sure hearing is normal, then only wait. Otherwise, you
start the treatment.
Start treatment as early as possible.
Absolutely. Well, now at the end of it, we'll take a look at the recap of that. Please write to us and tell us as to what more you would like to see on this show and what did you think of today's discussion. For that, you need to note my address, which is
Mail healthlstv@gmail.com and our toll-free number is 1800.
Well, I'll wait for all those posts to drop in, so please write in to me. And now it's time for me to thank the guests today for coming and for talking about hearing impairment. Well, friends, as three of my doctors said, that the ability to hear is one of the greatest gifts that God has given to mankind. So we must really, really take care of our ears. And if you see any warning signs in your children or in the people near you, please see to it that they are checked by the right doctor, that is an ENT specialist. And if ever there's a sudden hearing loss, treat it as an emergency, because for all you know, if you do not go to the doctor, you might lose your hearing for all life. So remember these points and the preventive measures that the doctors have talked about. Take care of that. Don't be close to places. Don't be exposed to very loud noises, and take care of your ears, because they really have to last a lifetime. Well, that's all I have for you this evening. Do join me next week for an equally important and an engaging discussion on another health issue. Till then, this is Lottie Alarik saying goodbye and take very good care of your ears.